Good morning, everyone. I'm Warid Ahmed.
And I'm Abdul Majid.
Welcome to Smashy Business Show. It's the 28th of January today. It's a Tuesday.
Yeah.
What's going
Second
on
day of
with
the
you?
week. Everything is about Deepseek today. To be honest, it's been that kind of like start of the week where everyone is talking about only one thing. Last week it was all Davos, World Economic Forum. But since like Monday, it's been Deepseek. And what is Deepseek? You saw
Deepseek, honestly, the way that I see Deepseek is that this is China and America
fighting,
raging a war.
Yeah. AI chatbot war.
I love it, and you know the reason why I love it so much is because of the fact that we're all very aware of what the U.S. did to China. Basically, the U.S. actually placed sanctions on China so that they are not able to access the chips that AI models that OpenAI uses. They can't access them. And what basically happened is that China was able to create Deepseek without the use of the chips that are mostly used in America, and it's actually topped ChatGPT on most Apple charts in the world. And I think that that's so crazy, and I love seeing it because for the longest time ever, I feel like we're always hearing, oh, China did this, China is breaching people's privacy, we have to ban TikTok because China is, they're spying on us. But and this is why I think this achievement, it's so beautiful.
Do you think they'll ban Deepseek? Now in the US there will be a new law.
Oh, you know what? That's
TikTok?
A good question.
Yeah, but Deepseek it's a very well-layered story about Deepseek. The main starting point is Deepseek started in China. It started by the guy Lin something. Don't exactly remember his name. Liang Wenfeng. And this guy is using NVIDIA's H800 chips. So as far as I understand this, H100s are the most advanced new chips that NVIDIA has, and those are being used by everyone literally in America and the close partners of America. For example, Japan, Germany, all these countries. There's a list of 12 countries. You remember we did the story that there's a list of 12 countries which don't have any chip or AI sanctions on them. So American technology, everything without any hurdle can go to these 12 countries. But then there's a list of 200 plus countries where UAE is also there, Saudi is also there, and all these countries are in that list where there's a limited amount of power, GPU power that can be exported to these countries. So that is a second list. It was done as Biden was leaving. In his last week, he did a lot of forgiving to his family members. All the executive orders were like, oh, forgive this guy, forgive this guy. But he also signed this new law. And most probably Trump will carry through with it. He's not going to remove it. So the idea was, again, as what said, to limit the world from getting their hands on the latest chips and to get in the global race of AI, get in front. The most important one, they don't want China to get their hands on it. That is why they told UAE to also.
It hasn't affected them.
They don't
what
care.
I mean. It hasn't affected them. Basically, what happened is that in the US, they use these chips. They're called the H100 chips. And the U.S. basically created these sanctions where China is not able to receive them. They're very restricted from them. So China started using NVIDIA's less developed chips, the H800. And what's even crazier about all of this to me, Majid, is that the new AI model that Deepseek developed, the R1, its training budget is about $5 to $6 million. You know that ChatGPT,
the whole building, everything.
That's what's crazy. And ChatGPT, you know how much it used? It's insane. They used $7 billion for OpenAI for the training and all the inference codes, while you have Deepseek and it only used about specifically $5.6 million.
Yeah.
I think that's quite insane. And it really goes to. Sorry, do you want to say something? No, I think that it really goes to show that it's not always quality. And it's not always having a lot of money. And this is the first time I've seen something like this. Yeah,
it's a very good underdog story. For me, it's like someone just randomly punched above their weight and won, kind of a thing. China, we've known them throughout history for doing exceptional things on occasions which no one is no one is ready to believe that they can do. These chips, them using H800s, which are like the older technology, that's a good sign. 6 million, very good sign. And them using 6 million gave NVIDIA a loss of nearly 600 billion, 593 billion. Their shares fell 18%. Nasdaq as a whole fell 3.1 or 3, nearly 3%. So every tech giant right now is like licking their wounds
I think
because
they're
someone just
scared.
spent $6 million and created something which is equivalent to Deepseek, ChatGPT. There's also another player in the market, Perplexity. I have all of them in my phone. I just use them randomly. What I've realized, if you go to functionality, to be honest, they all look the same. It's the same, like ask a question, I'm here to help you, blah, blah, blah. But yesterday, then I was like, let's see what Deepseek is. And I downloaded it and I asked it a lot of questions because usually
Like
with
what?
ChatGPT, I have a set of instructions that I use, like this is do this, let me help me with this. Let's like look for ideas on this. So I have like a set of things that I use ChatGPT to do. Then I was like, okay, let's try. I've already tried Perplexity. It's a very good thing, but it's more for like live search. It's like Google search, but in the form of Perplexity. With DeepSeek, what I saw was if you use it and if you're planning to use it, there's like two things that you can do with DeepSeek. The first thing is just go ask a question, it'll answer however best it can. But then there is an option of deep thought, R1. So you press that and you then ask a question. The good thing that DeepSeek does is it start thinking, and it'll start thinking loudly. You'll read the whole thinking
Thinking
process.
loudly.
Yeah, you'll read the whole thinking process. It'll be like, oh, this person asked this question. I think this is this. It'll tell you the whole thinking process. With ChatGPT, you just press enter and the answer starts appearing. Maybe you'll get a introduction sentence, oh, you asked this, and this is what
Yeah.
I know. And in the end, they'll be like, would you like to know more? That's ChatGPT for you. DeepSeek, you go and ask a question and you press the deep thinking button, and it'll start explaining its thoughts to you, like how it came up with the answer that you need. So you actually get the working behind the equation as well.
And you know, Majid, it's also crazy because of the fact that Liang Wenfeng,
Yeah.
the founder of DeepSeek, he actually founded it in 2023.
Yeah, it's a very new startup, yeah.
OpenAI was founded in 2015.
Yeah.
And what's even more interesting is Sam Altman, the CEO and founder of OpenAI, you know, that's how you all have ChatGPT. He actually came to say that, you know, what they're doing is great.
Yeah.
But, you know, for us, we're going to develop better products, and now we have competition.
Yeah.
And
Here's a
it's,
whole rant of him on X. He has a whole rant, says, look forward to bringing you all AGI and beyond.
Yeah.
Basically, the race now, to be honest, right now, the race is not for who makes a better chatbot, like who makes a better ChatGPT, DeepSeek, or who makes better Perplexity, or any other thing maybe some people are using. The main idea is advanced general intelligence or something average general intelligence, AGI. That's the main goal because they want these chatbots to be equally, if not more, equally smarter than humans. So the thinking process that goes through our brain, like the biggest machine in the world, the biggest AI in the world, inside our heads, they want it to have those kinds of reasoning abilities where emotions, ethics, morals, biases even, like if I am an Asian person, I have certain biases which I grew up with. So they want them to think literally like human beings. And they're trying to create that kind of an AI. I don't know why they're
and
doing
you think
it.
that's a great thing for AI to
Sometimes,
have our biases?
I don't know, depends on the use. It's like the very cliche, very orthodox kind of a knife example. You can cut fruit, eat, be healthy, or you can kill
Majid,
someone with
you
it.
You should see what ChatGPT has to say about Israel. It's so interesting.
Artificial general intelligence.
I remember I put this text through ChatGPT before, and in the text I had written the genocide in Gaza. right?
Change it to something?
It changed it to something else.
Conflict or maybe some other word,
yeah,
right?
it changed it to something else. And it's like, I would be mad because you know what I would search? I'd basically put the text I wrote and I'd be like, hey, please fix my grammar or whatever it is. And it would change it every single, and I would also add in, by the way, fix my grammar and don't change my original wording. Like, you know, the way that I phrase things. And it would change it every single time.
Try
and
Deepseek.
I remember even on the show when Annika came on, one of the Love in Dubai writers, basically me and her, we were having this discussion of like, ask ChatGPT to like, show you how an Arab woman is going to look like. And then ask ChatGPT to show you how a white woman is going to look like. And I remember when we searched Arab woman and we wrote white Arab woman, they all had noses that were just completely hideous. And then when I searched up white woman, you could not believe the beauty that I was staring at behind the laptop. I was like, ooh, okay. So I don't think these biases are necessary. It's dangerous. It's not a good thing.
You have to understand. See, it's like I give you 4 words like hi, hello, how are you? Now I tell you to make sentences with this. You'll have a limited vocabulary. You can't use hi, hello, how are you to say everything. That's the data set that they've been trained on. According to them, some ethnicities will have these features. So that is what this artificial general intelligence, AGI is artificial general intelligence, that is what they're trying to create. The idea that chatbot or an AI can think like a human, that, oh no, I'm not dependent on only what I've been told. I can make my own conclusions from the data that I have. And that is that is an intelligence that only we as humans have. No animal, I think, has that kind of intelligence capability in the animal kingdom. No plant, even they're living things as well. Even if you think plants have brains, some people do actually. There's a whole theory on this, like the flat earth theory. But the main idea is that they want to create this. So whoever reaches that point first will be a big disruptor. Now, see, AI has become very common. To be honest, in the last 2 years, we've talked so much about it that everyone knows how to make an AI LLM. UAE has made their own JES 70. That's an LLM which uses Arabic primarily. So it's for Arabic speakers. Even that Center for Advanced Research, they've also made a Hindi language LLM. So LLMs now, to be honest, with the way technology is working, LLMs are the basic thing that you can build. It's not the most advanced thing. So after that, the thing that will eventually disrupt the market is artificial general intelligence. That is why Sam Altman is like, we will build the first AGI.
But
so he's basically giving his investors confidence that don't worry, LLM-wise, okay, maybe Deepseek is good, but we will be the first one to create AGI. And I think this will lead to what Elon Musk said, 10% of danger.
But I agree with that too. But you know, Majid, just like putting America aside, something that I really admire in this entire situation is the stance that the UAE has on it. Essentially, what's it called? The CEO of Mubadala, the $350 billion Abu Dhabi Sovereign Wealth Fund, actually went to World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, and he said that I remain, I would say, committed to investing in China. And the reason why I find this so interesting, the fact that he said that, and he also emphasized how China has the second largest economy in the world. You know, how they have a population of over 1.4 billion people. What it really tells me is that the region that we live in, it's completely safe because they put aside political agendas and political ideologies to do really good business for the people. And in a way, when I take a look at what he said, it's almost prophetic. It's almost as if he knew that, the Americans are, and not the Americans, I mean the Chinese are going to come back from what's happening with TikTok because of the fact that TikTok, its parent company is ByteDance, and ByteDance is Chinese. And we saw the entire situation in America and how they wanted to ban it, and Trump brought it back. But, there still might be a chance, but that's beside the point. The point here is that what I'm seeing is that the UAE will completely see potential in absolutely any country, despite what America may think of it. And I think that in itself, that is so lovely to see, that's amazing to see.
Building on your point that he said that he wants to invest in China, keep relations with China. He's a sovereign wealth fund. he has the like power to do that, but the general consensus among the big giants right
Who
now.
doesn't have the power to do that?
It's not the power. It's, to be honest, right now, the game that we are playing on a very macroeconomic level is who will be America's best friend from Middle East. And we've seen that happen recently. Trump asked 450 to 500 billion. His Highness, His Royal Highness Mohammed bin Salman, he said, I'll give you 600 over 4 years in investments and trade. And he was like, okay, let's round it off to 1 trillion. That was one sign of them trying to win over America, which is going towards a very, again, the Saudi type of local policy making in economy, that we will do whatever is good for us. That's America and Saudi trying to win their favor. Then UAE itself has to win that favor because they're, again, the superpower in the world right now. Maybe economically and otherwise, a lot of people would disagree, but we still believe that they are the superpower in this unipolar world that we're living in. So them trying to win it. So UAE, you know, we talked about this, that ByteDance, G42, which is the AI head, like AI company of the UAE, to be honest, they invested in ByteDance, but then they were told that if you want the latest H200 chips, lesser than the H100s, you'll have to skip all the Chinese investments that you've made. Otherwise, you won't get access to those chips. And then that is what we saw. They sold their stake. They bought it for $100 million. They sold it for a good price. They got good money out of it. But again, this sold it. So there, and also all the data centers that we see in the UAE, now they don't use any Chinese parts. They're sourcing all their parts, even the smallest thing, from European or Western countries. So this is the kind of influence that America has right now.
Yeah.
Everyone is trying to win a favor with them. We saw Jeff Bezos was against him, was against actually the whole election. He didn't back any of the candidates, but then he committed 1 million, he went. So right now the game is to win Trump's favor. That's the game. In that game, you will have to, for some time maybe, move away from China. Otherwise, you can't play the diplomacy game right now, because right now Trump wants to make a statement. This is like the peak period in the first 2-3 months where he'll make a statement. He'll choose his future friends and foes.
Speaking of statements, the founder of Podio, Stefana, actually went on to say that what Deepseek has basically shown is that there is no limit to geography anymore. And essentially Podio is actually the largest audio platform in the MENA region. So what they do is quite amazing. They reach over 60 million listeners, and you know,
they're also on it. Smashy Business Show is also on Podio.
Yeah, and their CEO and founder came to say that, you know, there's no limit to geography anymore. And he also said some pretty interesting things. He said that, you know, success, it comes from small focused teams and smart strategies, and that in AI, how you present the product matters more than the model itself, and that retention and loyalty help products last beyond the hype. And you know, coming from him, somebody who, you know, built Podio in just about like 5 years, dropped out of university, I believe. I think it's really interesting, the fact that, you know, all of these tech startups, all of these tech founders, even they're realizing the potential of Deepseek and what's going on in China. And honestly, I love to see it, Majid. I really do, because you know, America is always winning, you know? They are. They're always winning. Like, I want to see a competition. You know, I want to see somebody else take the foothold. But, you know, just on the topic of, like, what's it called? Just podcast in general, I noticed something, by the way. The podcast community in the UAE, not even just the UAE, but like the Middle East, it's so small, but it's like a set number of people, and they're so good at it. Like there's Karak with Mahreen. There's also that, and then there's also Sheen. I love her podcast so much, and I met her, and she's so sweet. And then there's also Conversations with My Conscience, and that's by Layla. And so it's like, I'm noticing it, and it's like podcasts in this region, they're so amazing. They really, really are. Which one's your favorite,
is the biggest
Majid?
in Saudi that, like, usually I see. He's an interesting guy. He's everywhere. You did the story about him interviewing Ivan Spiegel, right? And there's a lot of people. Lulu Khazin is here in the UAE. She does a very good podcast. The community is good, and the good thing is it's
Wait,
growing.
is it Conversations with
Lulu, yeah. Her name is Lulu Khazin. So she does a podcast also. So there's a lot of people who are doing podcasts, and that's very good, and they're growing. And they will need a platform, and Podio is the platform they're using for distribution.
By the way, let me tell you, Majid, people in this region, they love podcasts. I don't know who put me on, but I remember I was sitting with my Emirati best friend, Shamsa, and I was sitting with her mom. We were all just sitting together. And then they started telling me all these completely insane, really good stories. And I'm like, guys, where are you hearing this stuff?
Podcasts.
And they went like, podcasts. And I'm like, can you give it to me? They went like, we don't remember. And I'm like, why don't you remember? And they told me that they literally just go on the app and they just start listening to whatever they see advertised there.
They see the topic, not the name.
Yeah, and they told me that like what's it called? It's not, they don't even read anymore. Like there's nothing better than sitting down and listening to that podcast.
Yeah.
I've still not reached that though. Like I've noticed, who was it? On their stories who was listening to a podcast while running. Oh, it was Richard. And he listens to podcasts, I think, when he runs.
And also audiobooks. Yeah.
Would you be able to do that? Let me tell you, I'd be hit by a car. No. I'd be hit by a car, Majid. I can't focus. Like, I don't think I'd be able to do it. Like, really listen in deep into a story. And next thing you know, I'm like, Majid, I can't come to work. A car hit me. Mm-mm.
No, I think depends. It's preferences. We still have like people who read newspapers, like physical newspapers.
Who?
There's like old people who still read it. My father reads it, so yeah, I know people.
Okay.
It's a dying industry. It's actually dead right now. The newspaper, the physical newspaper industry. Everyone has gone digital, but there's still people who like the feel of it. There's still people who like the feel of a book.
I like the smell of it.
Yeah.
And the feel of the book is me. But you know what happens to me, Majid? I'll like purchase a book, but then what happens is that I'll go back and read it online because I spend more time on my phone.
Yeah.
So sometimes, by the way, with my phone, it's not even about being on it. I'm just addicted to holding on to it. Like I can't.
Buy a Kindle.
No,
invest in a Kindle. Yeah,
really
it's the best thing that can happen to you. I love a Kindle. I have it. I love it. Best reader or any kind of reader, they're actually pretty great now with dictionary options, lighting options, all this stuff. So, but my favorite is Kindle.
Ooh, okay.
You can buy it
now,
on Amazon.
For our second topic of the day, we're going to tell you about our favorite man, of course, Mohammed Al-Abbar. Yeah. So Americana Group has acquired Pizza Hut business into Oman. And you know how it's actually expanding into there? It's expanding through Americana. And Americana Group, and this is something that a lot of people don't know, it's actually chaired by the Ammar Properties founder and CEO, Mohammed Al-Abbar. Yeah. And that's so interesting. I never knew
Even
it before.
I didn't know. I always bought Americana products.
He was a part of food.
Yeah, I bought his products from like Carrefour, etc.
Yeah.
Americana, their chicken tenders and all that stuff. I love that stuff, the beef patties and everything. Never knew this, but the story, the interesting story is the backstory of Americana Group and not the story of them like taking over Pizza Hut business in Oman. So everyone knows that like these giants, they do franchising in other countries. They don't literally go to other countries and do the business. They just sell the franchising rights to other people. Every country has some people in the Middle East, like MAF, Majid Al Futtaim has Carrefour, other brands. Al Shaya Group has a lot of brands. Apparel Group has a lot of brands. Hypermax, now they've changed it from Carrefour to Hypermax in Jordan and Oman. So all these things, all these big companies, they have franchising rights for big brands. And Americana basically has a lot of business apparently in the Middle East region. Americana, largest food service, it's the largest food service operator in the MENA region. They now have 250 Pizza Hut, 450 Pizza Hut outlets under them now in the Middle East. So the ones that they took over in Oman were 46. And the Oman business itself of Pizza Hut only made $11 million in 2024. That's the revenue.
That is crazy.
Yeah, so
people
they
love
took
their
over
Pizza
that
Hut.
business. So now they have 450 Pizza Huts under them. The company that they used to buy it is a merger between Mr. Al-Abbar, PIF, Public Investment Fund. So he's very good friends with them because PIF also owns 50% of Noon. So he went into a venture with PIF, and he's basically, what I see is Mr. Al-Abbar is telling PIF people that I have very good investment opportunities, And PIF people are like, okay, take the money, invest. Because he's a
Yeah.
seasoned businessman. You can trust him with your life right now, the amount that he
Yeah.
makes over stuff.
But it is also
Yeah.
important to know that this move is actually happening as Americana, just in general, has had an extremely challenging year. They actually reported a 54% drop in third quarter profits to $37.4 million in 2024.
And that is because they own brands like KFC, Pizza Hut, Krispy Kreme, and Hardee's. Some of the
Which
brands
are
which are being
boycotted. They're all being
So, yeah.
boycotted. But you know, people still buy them, by the way.
Yeah.
I
You go to
truly,
any store,
you know what, honestly, I feel so horrible saying this, but I used to boycott McDonald's like a champ, and then I stopped.
Yeah, as soon
No,
as the
but you know
ceasefire
what stopped,
happened,
though?
I saw bigger lines at McDonald's.
No, wait, Magic, you know what it is? It's not even like intentionally. It's because of the fact that I'll just be sitting in the car with my family and they're like, okay, we want to go get McDonald's. And it's like, I'll throw a fit and I'll say, guys, let's go get something else. And they're like, you know what? Don't eat.
We'll eat it, you don't eat it.
Will go home, eat some beans. Like that's your issue. That's your issue today. So it's just kind of tough to do it if everyone collectively is not doing it. But still, what makes this deal so interesting, it's the fact that Americana's history in Sultanate Oman actually dates back to 1986, where they actually first introduced KFC and Hardee's. So the fact that it's taking on Pizza Hut, like it's cementing that reputation. Like we're gonna take the big fast food giants and we're going to keep spreading them. But the fact that it's chaired by Mohammed Al-Abbar,
That's
it's
the
so
interesting part,
he's a real estate man, but he's also a part of retail, food retail, let alone.
Americana was basically founded in 1964, Kuwait. The funny story is since I've joined here and I've started reading like many of the founding stories deeply, I've realized that not everything started in UAE or Saudi. A lot of these things, they started in Kuwait, Oman, Bahrain, etc. Landmark Group started in Bahrain. Kuwait gave birth to Americana Group, which was earlier called something else. They brought Wimpy to... they started Wimpy in Kuwait in 1970, and then in 1973 they introduced KFC. And then in 2016, PIF and Mohammed Al-Abbar, chairman and founder of Emaar Properties, they acquired the majority stake and they made a company, a Deptio Ad Investment Limited. So basically, PIF and Mr. Al-Abbar, they made a company, and then that company brought the Americana Restaurants International PLC, the whole company name. And then now they have 2,500 plus different outlets of these brands that are operating through MENA and Kazakhstan. Also, they have MENA and Kazakhstan. So 2,500 plus restaurants they're running
That's
under
crazy
Americana
to
Group.
see.
So yeah, it's sometimes I see these stories and I realize that these are like the boring businesses. You and I think the newer generation, when you talk to them, you'll be like, oh, we'll do something in AI, we want to do something in tech, we want to do something in this. But when you look at these conventional, boring businesses, people actually are making millions from them. It's a conventional, boring business. It's a restaurant. No, I just bought KFC franchise. What are you doing? I just put up a shop and people are buying KFC. There's no becoming famous from it.
But
It's just the business which will make you money.
But see, imagine maybe there's no becoming famous from it. But I think at its heart, I think that's what makes a business beautiful.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the CEO of Deepseek?
Yeah, no.
Did you hear about him at all? No, he never goes on. He never, says any crazy outlandish statements.
He's not like Elon Musk, Sam Altman,
Even
all of the
Mohammed
time
Al-Abbar,
making.
he does not have to use marketing whatsoever, and it just popped out of nowhere, and it did absolutely great. I remember even when I went to Al Qoz Arts Fest by El Sirkal Majid, I met this business owner. Her story is really beautiful. Basically, she opened this bakery. It's called Rice Bakehouse, and what they do is that you can do cake baking with them. It's like cake designing workshops. Do you know how much it cost? Like 250 dirhams to design a cake that was like this tiny, which is okay. And she has like a really big kitchen. They also make cookies. They make brownies.
For 250, you get the baking part as well, or just
you
the
don't
cake?
get the baking part. You get the cake and you design the cake. I thought I'd bake it. But you know what? It's okay. It was a girlie's experience. It was worth it.
Yeah.
But point is, I started speaking to her, and I don't know. I don't know if it's like the smashy business in me, but I started asking her questions. I was like, oh, like, you know, when did you form your business? She said 2020 during COVID. Her name is Farah.
Nice.
And what else did she say? She said that she was actually a fashion student. Yeah, she studied fashion. She graduated. She went to London, but then she realized I didn't like it. And so I completely moved fields. And by the way, Rice Bakehouse is amazing. A lot of people frequent the place. A lot of people go to her workshops. And I realized, by the way, really dumb mistake on my part. I was asking her the questions as she was preparing like the ice cream and a warm cookie. I was like, oh my God, I should have like gotten my camera out. And then I asked her, I was like, oh, can I interview you? I came back again. She said no. You know, she didn't want to show her face.
Yeah.
But this is what I mean. Like, her business is doing well, even though we don't know who she is. It just shocked me because imagine a founder is like serving you. I like, you know, even like I went to buy the cookies. I was just standing there. And then when she like, because I met her before when I was doing the workshop, I was like, what? Like, you know, I didn't know this was your stature, you know? And she went like, I always like to be hands-on. I like to be absolutely everywhere, helping every single second. So I think with like founders, I don't think you need to be the face of your brand.
Depends.
You
If,
really
if
don't.
you are a big person, like if you're Mr. Beast and you start a chocolate brand, I understand that your face is important.
Yeah.
But sometimes the product itself is more important. Depends on the product, depends on the industry that you're in.
Ooh, and speaking of industries, something crazy is happening in the plane industry. So Etihad Airways and Saudi budget carrier Flynas are gearing up for a significant IPO this year, which is going to break a nearly 20-year dry spell for Gulf-based airlines entering local stock markets. This is crazy. You know, this is an IPO. You can trade with them now. I never thought this would possibly happen.
So they wanted to go like for an IPO last year, but I remember there was something show where their CEO came and he was like, there's a lot of technical problems that we're facing. So that is why we're planning for Q1 of 2025. So now what's been reported by Reuters apparently that they're going for a roadshow. A roadshow is basically you go meet a lot of investors, local, international, and you tell them that we're going for an IPO. And some of the investors, if they see that the IPO is worth it, they'll become cornerstone investors. They'll before the IPO goes live, they'll be like, okay, I'll add 5 million. We saw that with Talabat. We had a lot of cornerstone investors for the Talabat IPO who had already like put aside money that will give you 5 million, 10 million, all this stuff. So they're going on a roadshow. The plan is to go for an IPO. It'll be the first IPO by an air carrier in 20 years. The first one was Qatar. Qatar Airways was the first one in the post. So yeah, in 20 years, it'll be the first one. Emirates, there's reports that Emirates also wants to go for an IPO, but there's no substantial like backing. Everyone is just saying that there is a plan. Emirates will eventually go, but there is no like talk about it. Yeah, but Etihad is like clearly they want to go for an IPO in 2025, the first quarter. Also, Saudi's Flynas, which is like a budget airline, they have also an IPO planned, most probably in the first half. The CEO of another favorite person, Al Walid bin Talal, Kingdom Holding Company, the CEO was there, not Mr. Al Walid, he's the chairman. The CEO was there, and he also said that we've talked to Flynas. They've invested in Flynas, basically Kingdom Holding. So they're saying that we have like a lot of approvals ready. Soon enough, we'll see Flynas also going. So it'll be like a new good thing that we'll see for IPOs, that air carriers, airplane companies, whatever you call them, they're also going for IPOs. So it's a nice story coming out. Be ready because Q1 is going to be very dramatic. Yesterday, I was planning the whole month of February. We have 4 events this Feb.
Yeah, we have a lot. Sharjah Entrepreneurship Festival.
So
then
Saturday and Sunday is Sharjah Entrepreneurship.
Then we have Web Summit. We also have Leap. We have
exactly
Step.
After that, we have Leap in Saudi Arabia. Then we have Step in Dubai. And then at the end of the month, 23 to 26, we have Qatar Web Summit. So 1 month, 4 biggest like tech, AI, everything kind of event.
It's going to be absolutely crazy. I'm so excited for Sharjah Entrepreneurship
I guess it's that
Festival.
Ramzan is coming earlier this year, so everyone is like, just do everything before Ramadan.
Oh yeah, that's why. right.
Yeah.
I was told that it's actually going to start in March 1st.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for Ramadan.
So
I love Ramadan.
because of that, everyone is just trying to fix it in the month of Feb because Ramadan will be 1 month and April is like
But
the
by
weather
the way,
becomes
gatherings actually increase in Ramadan.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like so many events
but you
pop
can't
up.
do events. That's the
You can
Ramadan
do.
events
It's
you can
iftar
do.
ones though,
yeah,
you
but you
know?
can't do these corporate events where people have to walk a lot throughout ADNOC, World Trade Center. You can't do those. So yeah, we'll have a full month of Feb for events. I'm going to Qatar. She'll be at STEP, SEF. This weekend, Leap will have someone from Saudi Arabia, but we'll cover all those events.
Majid, the people who are going to SEF, the list is crazy. You have Mohammed bin Ghati there. You also have, Brookie.
Yeah.
Oh my God, she's going to be at the conference.
Yeah.
I was so sad because she basically opened a pop-up at Abu Dhabi and I wasn't able to go. So you best believe I'm going to be at that cookie stand. I will definitely be there. And Hind Al Mullah is going to be there.
Plesty is there.
Yes, Plesty is also going to be there.
And there's Thierry Henry,
it's
Arsenal
exciting.
legend, football legend. He's also going to be there. Yeah, so I was more excited by Thierry Henry. Sorry, football fan.
Yeah.
But yeah, these guys are coming to the Sharjah Entrepreneurship Forum. This weekend we'll cover everything for you on stories, reels, whatever we can do for you.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. This is Smashy Business Show, a Smashy Business production under the Augustus Media Podcast Network. Do make sure to follow our newsletter on Smashy TV and please follow all our channels. Have a lovely day.